tell me a ghost story.
Okay, so I got a bunch, but I don't know which ones I should tell.
So we were talking before. You have some paranormal experience and some paranormal investigation experience.
Yep. Okay. So I and the real funny thing is I mean I'm essentially an atheist, because
and an associate chaplain.
Yeah.
Or whatever they call it, assistant chaplain.
Yeah, chaplain's assistant.
Chaplain's assistant and an atheist.
And an ordained minister in the Dudist church. So
to coin a phrase, Jesus Christ, dude.
So, I mean, so philosophically speaking, we talked about this before, I believed in God up until a certain point. Then when I hit college, I had a lot of doubts. And at this point, it's like anything's possible, but I don't bet on anything. So it's open, but I'm not going to depend on those potential things or the want to believe or whatever.
Like Kevin Smith says, ideas are good, but beliefs are where the problem is.
Yeah. Yeah. So I try not to depend on anything like that, because I think a lot of people lose their lives because they think of something, I don't know, else being there, or they're waiting for a reward later. Mm-hmm. I just want to be happy now, So Zen really teaches you that. Zen at its core is atheistic. Buddhism is atheistic.
Which isn't a bad word.
It's not.
It's been demonized.
Yeah.
But to be atheistic.
But it's almost like a spiritual atheism. That's what Buddhism is. And so that really identified with me, and that's what I predominantly practice. And then Stoicism, which I talked before, which is really, it's like the Western equivalent of Zen. So, but my thing is anything's possible. Right. And I've experienced enough weird shit in my life that, I joined a paranormal team. I did investigations. I experienced I definitely.
Porta potties in the military.
Porta potties in the military, at porn fests. So, but I definitely think weird shit happens that we can't explain.
Sure.
Everything is explainable because everything is made up of energy and matter and stuff like that. There might be different kinds of energy. There might be different kinds of matter that interact with our plane of existence in a different way that we just don't have a way of understanding or identifying. What was fucking in the Thor movie where it's like, you call it science, but we call it magic.
Yeah.
That line, right? So everything's explainable.
That's in a human history as well.
Yeah. So weird shit happens. It happens for a reason. We just don't know that reason. And I've had enough experiences to know that, weird shit happens. Now, if that means that there's some kind of connection between body, mind, soul, whatever, and there's some kind of energy force inside of us that separates and does something else, who the fuck knows? Sure. But I've definitely seen things move on their own that's not supposed to move. I've definitely heard sounds that other people have heard that should not have happened. We've caught stuff on recorders, I don't think we got any video stuff, but we got a lot of audio stuff for the group.
I have 2 EVP stories.
Oh, yeah?
You keep going. I'll tell you. Ask me now.
Well, go ahead.
Well, one, I was in a band, and I was at my drummer's house. And I always like to play drums. I'm not a drummer, but I always like to play drums. And my drummer went to the store to get a drink or something. So I was alone in his house. And his house was his grandfather's house, and it became his dad's house. And his grandfather passed away, not recently, but had passed away of natural causes, nothing bad. So I'm playing drums, and we had some recording set up. We were doing some recording in the living room. And so I was testing out some mics. So I pressed record on the computer, walked 10 feet to the drum set, and sat down and amateurishly tried to play drums.
Yep.
And got up frustrated with myself for sucking on the drums, and went back and pressed stop on the recording, clicked back to listen to it again, and heard myself doing my drums. And then in the 10 feet from when I stopped playing drums to walk over to the computer, turn it off, I swear to God, I heard almost a whisper. It said, "Don't you play the computer drum set?"
Oh, interesting.
And yeah, I do. I don't, you don't play real drums. You play the computer drums. Yeah. But it said, "Don't you play the computer drum set?"
That's interesting.
And I immediately threw off my headphones.
Like, oh shit.
Because I was all alone,
Yeah.
But then, rational thought comes back in your mind, and you calm down and listen to it again, and you're like, yeah, that's what that says. That's fascinating.
Yeah.
And I played it for my drummer. He's like, "That's my grandfather." He's like, around here.
That's cool.
It's like, "Your grandfather?" Yeah. He's like, "Yeah, every once in a while something moves around."
That's why he says computer drums instead of electronic
because
drums.
He knows that Lee was the drummer.
Yeah.
And Lee loved jazz and acoustic drums, and my friend and I were synth guys. We were into
gotcha.
electronic drums and
And he wouldn't know the term synth.
no,
So he's
but
like,
the
computer.
computer drum
Yeah.
set, yeah,
Makes sense.
Of all things, even like the colloquialism of like the computer drums.
Yeah.
You know? That's what an old man would say. Don't
Yeah,
you play
exactly.
the computer drum
Yeah,
set?
yeah.
You don't play the real drum set.
That's pretty cool.
And the second one was my wife writes training material for corporations. And one of the training materials that she was writing was an interactive one about working from home and not doing stupid things like the dishes while you're on a conference call or going to the bathroom and flushing the toilet. And
Yeah.
like that. Be mindful if you're on the phone, you know? And so we were recording sounds around the house to put in the training. And I recorded a toilet flush. So I set up the mic in the bathroom, and I was all the way in the kitchen with my computer. Excuse me. And so I hit record, go in the bathroom, flush the toilet, walk back, turn it off, and I listen back. And after the flush, I listen back. It says there was some like another whisper thing came on. It said, "Why don't you take a dump?" And it immediately scared me, but it occurred to me it was my Uncle John.
Really?
Yeah, it sounded exactly like somebody would say.
That's cool. That's
"Why
cool.
don't you take a dump?"
That's funny.
He was like joking,
Yeah.
you know. So those are my EVP stories.
Well, I got 2 EVP stories from the group I was with. I wasn't part of these investigations.
An EVP is
Electronic voice phenomenon.
phenomena, which is there's for some reason the mechanism of recording will record something, a frequency or something that your human ear isn't hearing.
Yeah.
It can only be heard when played back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Supposedly, that's the idea.
That's the
behind
idea.
it. Yeah. So there was 2. One, they were at I think like a hotel or something, and they were in the attic, and there was a fire a long time ago, and you could still see like burn marks on certain parts of the roof that didn't get destroyed. And
Where's this?
This was in Pennsylvania. I can't remember exactly where, but so they were doing it, and in the middle of it, you know, there was some quiet, and you hear somebody say, "Get on the floor."
Come on.
Nope, nobody was speaking at the time. So, get on the floor.
What did it sound like? Like a whisper?
Yeah,
Yeah.
closer to a whisper. So that was interesting.
Get on the floor.
The second one, it was only 2 people.
Was there any connotation to what was happening? Or were you just walking around? Is anybody here? Doing that kind of a thing?
Yeah, that kind of thing. Yeah.
And they said, you heard get on the floor.
Yeah, get on the floor.
Wow.
Which they thought, flyer.
Yeah.
You get on the
Get
floor.
low.
Yeah, get low. The second one, they were in a very, very tiny apartment. So apparently this place was, like the building was businesses on the bottom, a few apartments on the second floor, right? Only one apartment had somebody in it, which was this person, and all the businesses, they were closed at this point. So there was nobody in this facility or this building besides them and the person who lived in this apartment. So they were in like the living room, which was super tiny, maybe 15 by 15, you know, I mean, not super tiny, but you know, it's a small living room. 3 of them, 2 guys, and I think the person that lived there was a female. They were all in the center of the room, and they were talking a bit. And they just were recording. They were bullshitting, and they're like, "Okay." I think they were just talking but recording at the same time. And for about 10 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes, you hear somebody crying as they're talking, and it's very distinctly
The whole time.
the whole time.
Like they would have noticed it if they were in
Exactly.
the room.
And it was loud enough because the room was so small. It literally sounded like they were in the middle of the room and the person was like in the corner, right?
Wow. A little bit away, but in the same room.
And it was like sobbing. It was like, and it was definitely a woman or a female sounding voice. And it was like, like fucking legit, you know? And again, it was so loud that there was no way that they wouldn't have been able to hear it. And that was my dog, not an EVP. And so that one, but the most interesting EVP, and this is probably one of the most interesting things.
More interesting than the crying lady.
Yeah.
Wow. Call that Momo in.
Yeah. Give me 1 second. A brief intermission.
Well, we're back.
And we're back.
Yep.
So the most interesting EVP, because that one was pretty cool.
Yeah. Jarring, actually, sounds like.
But it was, so it definitely sounded like sobbing and it definitely sounded like a woman. But sometimes it kind of sounded not mechanical, but repetitive because it sounded like very similar noises. But again, if someone's sobbing, I don't know. So they kind of put it up to, yeah, it could have been something, but maybe it could have been something with a recording device that just made it sound like it was a person sobbing. So they kind of like, they were like, yeah, it sounds really good, but
There was plausible deniability.
yeah. So we were investigating a place called the Green Gables, which the owner believes that Jimmy Hoffa's body is buried there. Because the way the mob was back in the day when Jimmy Hoffa went, like when he disappeared, where they were the same people in that area, and it was the same time that the entire basement got sealed off and cemented.
Don't they also say that he was buried at like the Meadowlands in New Jersey?
Maybe.
Yeah.
But so that's just a bullshit theory. But the basement is cemented and sealed off, and they don't know what's down there.
Wow.
So, yeah. And it's a big basement. It's as big as the fucking hotel.
Nobody does that for no reason.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, shit, that was, I think it was also, they're like, yeah, just imagine if we had some like booze in barrels, and because there was like distilleries and shit.
Oh,
and so,
yeah. Who knows what's in there?
Yeah. So,
You need to get Geraldo in here.
right. So we're doing an investigation, and it was me, Brittany, and 3 other people. Broden, I can't remember the other 2 guys' name.
Bryce and Brian
Yeah, Broden, Bryce, and Brian.
and Brittany.
And Brittany. So we were all there, and the owner's name was Tony, and there was also a female bartender, and then there was one other guy that was helping us out. That he wasn't in the building at the time though. He had left. No, he was with those guys. So he was with them over there. We were on the other side of the hotel, like on the 2nd floor.
And what were you doing? You were walking around room to room, or
Well, we were doing EVP.
was it open, the hotel?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, so this was the old part of the hotel.
Mm-hmm.
The bottom floor was kind of like a restaurant / bar, dance place. 2nd floor had a bunch of banquet halls. 3rd and 4th floor were old rooms that they don't use anymore.
Okay, so it's more of like a restaurant and bar now.
Yeah, they still had hotel rooms, but those were separate buildings that were newer.
They don't use the old
Yeah,
stuff.
they don't use the old
Okay.
stuff. It's just storage and just, it's from way back like 1930s or something
Okay.
when it first opened. So, yeah, 1930s, I think. So they were on the other end of the hotel. We were on this end, and we were on the staircase.
Mm-hmm.
We were on the 2nd floor, but we were sitting on the staircase facing the floor. Tony and the female bartender had left earlier, and so we were sitting there, and we were getting done to wrap up our EVP session, and we were just kind of talking, and like, okay, we think we're probably going to wrap up pretty soon. And then all of a sudden, we heard the door open downstairs because the stairwell was like right there where that kind of bar area was, and the door wasn't too far from that. We heard the door unlock. We heard people come in. We heard a male and a female talking and laughing. We heard them clink some glasses on the bar or around the bar. And we heard them continue to talk. And we're like, oh, Tony and that lady's back. Didn't even have a second thought because it was
Because you heard it,
we heard it.
not in a recording. You heard it.
We
Okay.
heard it. It was such a clear thing. It's like, okay, they're back.
Yeah.
30 seconds to a minute later, we wrapped up because we thought they were down there. Like, let's go talk to them. Clicked, walked down the steps. Nobody's down there. Right as we were coming, the other people, the other guys, they were all men, were coming from the other stairwell. They didn't hear it. We looked at the door. The door was dead bolted from the inside. Like there was like locked. Nobody was getting in. We played it back on the recorder. It was all there. You could hear everything. You hear the door coming open, closing, them talking, laughing, going up to the bar, clinking glasses and shit. Or like it sounded like they were moving something.
Yeah.
And there was no explanation for it. And it was such a clear thing, and we heard it, that we didn't even assume that it was something paranormal because we just thought people were down there.
It sounded like people down there.
It sounded like
Yeah.
people were down there. So that was, I think, a better
Wow.
EVP because we heard it ourselves. We caught it, and it sounded exactly like that. You hear the door opening, closing, then walking, talking.
So that wasn't an EV. That was a physical manifestation. I mean, an auditory
Yeah,
manifestation.
something. So it was
Wow.
really interesting. So for physical stuff, I actually had more stuff happen at my old apartment than on an investigation. We had a ghost cat. We were on the 2nd floor. We own a black cat, but there was 2 times where I saw a black cat that we did not own that just kind of disappeared. So I remember
In
one,
front of your eyes.
not in front of my eyes.
Okay.
But what happened was one time I woke up in the middle of the night, had to go to the bathroom. The living room light was on, so there was light coming into the bedroom. I get up, I stretch a bit. I look at the foot of the bed. Our cat was laying on our bed, right? he does that. He sleeps
Normal.
on the bed. 2 steps to the bedroom door. I look out into the living room. Our cat's asleep on the couch across the living room. I look back. First cat is gone. I was wide awake, and I definitely saw the cat there. And there's no way he would have ran past me, jumped on the couch, and balled himself
got
up.
comfortable.
In that 2 seconds that it took, because it literally, like, the foot of the bed was literally 2 steps away from the door.
Yeah.
So,
At most, you would have seen him like walking behind you
yeah,
or something.
something.
Yeah.
The second time, my wife and I were watching a movie. She was on the couch. I was on the recliner.
So what'd you do? I mean, did you
I was just like, oh, okay.
you like other cat like
No, I
went back to bed or
I knew it wasn't another cat because, again, we were on the second
Yeah.
floor. There's no way a cat would have gotten in there.
so
It was winter.
Did you try to touch the cat or did you just go back to sleep?
No, because he was gone. So, like,
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, when you came back, he was gone.
No. So what happened was, all right. So I woke up. I stretched a bit. I looked at the bed. I saw the cat.
Yeah, your cat, your actual cat.
That was Ghost Cat
Oh, on the bed.
on the bed. So, yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. So the cat was there. I look. So again, it's literally like 2 steps to the door. I open the door.
Mm-hmm.
I see
Your cat.
my cat,
Actual cat.
asleep on the couch, way on the other side of the living room.
Okay.
Then I don't move, and I turn back to where the first cat
No
was.
cat.
No cat there,
Holy shit.
just gone. And I was wide awake, and I was up. I don't think I was hallucinating.
I mean, at that moment, you were probably really wide awake.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, okay.
Right.
Like this stuff doesn't really freak me out.
It
I mean,
doesn't.
it's. I just think it's interesting.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well, that was cool.
Sure. I mean, it's jarring, but also then I think I'm similar in that way. If any kind of experience I've ever had, it's jarring, but then I immediately go, like, it's just something else.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to me too. So once you get past the like, ooh, spooky, like shock of it,
Just like, wow.
yeah,
That's
take
for
the
me.
jump scare out of it.
Yeah,
and
you
it's
take the jump scare. Yeah,
fascinating.
exactly. The second time there was a ghost cat. My wife and I were watching a movie. She was on the couch. I was on the recliner. We've been watching the movie for about 20 or 30 minutes. And then I notice the cat, everything was dark. It was only the TV. Everything was black. I noticed the cat's tail. And then I looked down, and it was walking in front of the TV stand. And then it went around the corner into the second bedroom. And then 30 seconds later, I hear the cat meow. And I said, Astrid, where's the cat? She's like, he's on my lap. How long has he been there? Well, the entire time the movie's been on. And I was like, you didn't just fucking see that thing walk in front of the TV? Like, I turned the lights on. Because at that point, I thought there was another cat in the house. And I saw it go into the second bedroom. There was nothing in the second. There was nothing there. So, and I was like, you didn't see that just happen?
Yeah.
And no, nothing.
She didn't catch it. Yeah.
Nothing. So that one.
Wow. Do you think that she couldn't have?
I
Do you
don't know.
think that you have an intuitive side to yourself?
I don't know.
Because I only ask that because I have a friend who would be great to interview about this, who's told me certain stories of experiences that he's had, and there have been multiple. And they seem to happen to him personally. You know what I mean? And he's not the kind of guy who's going to make shit up.
Yeah.
He's going to tell me, he was hesitant to tell me because he probably told people before, and
And
they're
they're
like, yeah,
you're
right.
yeah, you're crazy.
But-
Or they think he's full of shit.
But it's been multiple occurrences where he's had experiences.
I've had a bunch. I can't say whether or not intuition or anything, because again, it's one of those things that's purely speculative. We don't know. I will say, when I was going to Western Kentucky University, when I first went to college, whenever we would walk around campus at night with my group of friends, every night, eventually a street light would go out at some point when we walked past it. And it happened so much that
The same one?
I don't think it was the same one. No, it wasn't, because it was just all around campus. It's just like we're walking, and all of a sudden a light would go out, and it became enough of a pattern that they noticed it, and they're like, "Hey, man, this only happens when you're walking around with us," because they were out every night, like they were
Yeah.
drinking, partying. Like, this only happens when you're out with us. Like they just go off, and then you walk past them. We walk past them, they go out, we get a little bit further, and they come back on. And I think even one time we walked again just to see if it happened, and went off again when we were under it. So he's like, this only happens when you're around. I mean, if that it was actually just coincidence, probably, but it just when you asked, do you have any kind of thing, that memory popped into my head, because they're like, yeah, man, this only happens when you're around. But back to my apartment.
Yeah.
So there was one time where, I was in ROTC at the school I was going to. I had to get up at like 4 a.m. to be at school at like 6 to do some stuff. So I got up, I closed the door, but I don't latch it, right? It's all the way closed, but it's just barely.
It's not.
Yeah. So I walked to the kitchen to start some coffee. I put my head.
Why'd you do that? Did you just like it didn't shut or something?
Well, I did it because I knew I'd probably had to go back in the bedroom or something.
Okay.
And I didn't want to wake her up by turning.
Oh, okay. Oh, it's early. Yeah,
it's
that's
early.
right. You didn't want to wake up.
Yeah.
Astrid.
So I go to the kitchen. I put on some coffee. I got my headphones on. You listen to some music, trying to get
It's 4 in the morning.
motivated. Yeah. So I walk. Actually, I think it was these headphones.
Oh,
yeah. And I've had them for a while.
They're not too spooky, ladies and gentlemen. They're just kind of white.
They are white.
JVC, big.
Yeah.
They're about the size of Princess Leia's earmuffs.
Yeah, they're pretty big.
Yeah.
They're good. I walked back because I had to go to the bathroom to get like a tissue or something. So I walked to the bathroom, and the bathroom door is catty corner to the bedroom door. They're right next to each other. I walk towards the bathroom. I'm about 3 feet away from the bedroom, and the door just swings open by itself with force. Now, this was in the middle of winter. No, it was like someone was behind it, and they said, "What the fuck are you doing?" And they just like opened the door. This was in the middle of winter. We had no vents. We had electric heating. Everything was closed. There was no drafts. There was no wind, and it just opened up.
Wow.
And there was an absolute as soon as it happened, I looked in. Astra was still asleep. The cat was asleep on the bed. There was nothing that opened the door, but it opened with enough force. It looked like there was an intent behind it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Again, it wasn't just kind of moving. It opened all the way, and it was completely closed, except it wasn't latched, and all the way. I'm surprised it didn't wake her up because it made a noise when it hit the wall.
Wow.
So that happened. And at that point, that one got me because I wasn't expecting. I was walking to the bathroom, all of a sudden that opened.
And you're like
I was
listening to music.
Whoa!
You're like
I was
not.
like, what the? And so
Yeah.
I went into my ghost hunter mode. I'm like, okay, if there's anything here and you want to talk, you want to communicate, as long as you don't mean me any harm,
Yeah.
let's do it. And nothing else happened. There was another time where I was reading in bed. We had the lights on because I was reading in bed, and all of a sudden, it felt like somebody as big as me just did a cannonball in the bed next to me. Like it was, at first I thought it might have been a spring because you know how springs maybe get stuck
And then
sometimes.
boing. Yeah.
Yeah, but no, it was like someone went boof. It made me like jump up. Yeah, jump up. It caused me to go up into the air a little bit. And I was like, I went in there and I told Astrid, I was like, something just, and if she comes in here, she'll remember this story.
Yeah.
I was like, something just jumped on the bed. Like something big just jumped on the bed. It made, it pushed me out of the bed. Like, what the, like, and she's just like, whatever, she didn't care. And I was like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
I got really excited.
Wow.
The scariest thing that happened to me
In the apartment still?
in the apartment, still in the apartment.
Okay, this apartment, something's going on.
And this is the only time I think I really got scared
Huh.
because it was like out of a horror movie.